Okay, so I've begun my new file with my new template, and so now I'm going to start drawing some objects back in model space. Just so it's clear, I've got the page there set up for my template, but now coming back to the model tab, and so because we're drawing in model, it'll be one-to-one. And just so that I can see what I'm drawing on the screen, well, I've got AutoCAD open, I'm just rearranging my windows there, and I want to get this stud profile that we've got that I'm going to draw, so I can see that, and I'm going to again use that 76 mil deep stud profile. So I'm zooming in a little bit around that origin, and maybe I'll begin then by making sure I've got a layer for this, so we'll call it, we've got a wall stud already, actually that's fine, but I'll make another one, a wall stud PBD, right, for plasterboard, and I'll just make that again a colour that'll stand out. Always forget the colour for plasterboard. It's one of these colours, I think, lavender or something. And then the line weight 0.35 should be fine. So that's enough for my studs and my stud wall. And I'm going to change the wall stud layer to draw my frame. Yep, a little bit now. So, okay, so I'm going to draw this profile and then make that into a block and add the lining to it. So I'll draw maybe I'll start with a rectangle, again just to keep it simple. Click a start point and then type in the overall size that I want. So it's 76, comma, 33.5. Now, that's fine, yeah, it's the size it needs to be. So whenever you're drawing here, you're drawing one-to-one, in other words, the real size of your object, not worrying about the scale of the drawing. And then the thickness of this, if we wanted to be technical, we could put that in, but you can see it's 0.55 of a millimetre. So there's no point drawing that in, up to 1 millimetre. Our line weight will be thicker than that. So there's no need to draw things that are that thin, anything less than a millimetre.
You still follow the convention of putting in section that's thicker than the roof?
Oh yes, so yeah, that's right, thicker line weight. So we'll have a thicker line weight for this layer, and I already have 0.35. For details, I might make that line weight a little bit heavier, that's all. So? Yes, I'm going to check that that's the right layer. So this is no, that's actually the right layer, so that's the one I want to use. I've got another layer for the plasterboard. Yeah, we can call this a wall stud metal if we wanted to. So, it's a steel stud, in case you're wondering. It could be aluminium in some rare cases, but generally steel. And so then we've got the lip there, and I suppose we can put that in accurately. So it's, you can see 8.15, make that 8. But before I do that, of course, I've got to explode this rectangle. So I've selected it, I'll click explode, and then I can offset, that's 8 mil. Again, don't worry about fractions of a millimetre. So that's how far it needs to come down. And then, so I'm not thinking right, but we've got in fact I'm going to rotate this just so it's clearer. So I'll select that and just use rotate and bring it around 90 degrees or 270 is fine. And then I've gone the wrong way. Now I knew I was being stupid. Okay, so offsetting again, 8 mil, and bringing this line at the top down and the one at the bottom up, of course. Then to get the little, sorry, 6.4, yeah, I mean, don't worry about, again, they're not going to build it from your measurements. This is just a drawing, so yeah, if you want to do it symmetrically, that's fine. So I've just done them both at 8. That's fine. Yeah, I know the other one's 6, but yeah, that's fine if you do them the same. And then I will draw, again, this is by eye, a line for this little ridge here. And I want it to start somewhere on the line on the left, but you can see it's trying to snap to the midpoint or the end point. So you might know that you can go and turn the nearest option on, So I'll show you that if I turn nearest on in my object snap settings, and then I can hover on the line and it will draw from the point that I click on the line, which is useful in these cases. The problem then is if you leave nearest on all the time, it's going to keep snapping to the nearest point on any object, and normally you don't want that. So watch out for nearest. Don't leave it on as a running snap. In other words, don't leave it turned on all the time. So I'm just going to again bring this down by eye, and that'll do. Now, I'll just show you, if you're wanting to use nearest, and you don't want to have to turn it on and off down here, you can just, as you're drawing, type NEA, enter, and then turn it on as a one-off setting. So that's just gone on for that click, and now it's back to the way it was. So NEA, that's a handy one. Having drawn that line, I now still want to adjust that, again just eyeballing it to try and make it look similar to what I can see in the drawing there. Don't want it to be too big. That looks about right. And then I'm going to use mirror. So I've selected the line, I'm going to click mirror, and I'll bring that across. And yep, that'll do. So then I want to fillet this with this line on the left and also with itself. So to do that, I've first got to use trim. I'll just press enter and then pick in between to break that. And then using fillet, well, firstly I'll just do a little thing. I'm just going to do it using trim. I trimmed it. So the trick, if trim isn't working for you, I might just do that again because it can cause problems. So the trick with trim, after you click on that tool, press enter, and that'll make everything cutting edge. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, enter, yeah, is your best friend with AutoCAD. So then fillet needs to have a radius, which I've just worked out by doing some little measurements on the screen. So I'm going to type R or click on the radius option on the command line. That's the same thing. And I'm going to make the radius 1. And then choose these lines. And it will round them off. Actually, that's a little bit small. So I'll undo that and I'll do fillet again. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So again, R for enter, R for radius, and I'll make it 2. I know it seems like a little thing, but we're going to use this stud all over the place. So I just want to make it look pretty. And there we are. Now that last radius maybe there, that's a bit big. I know I'm being picky, but again it's worth making it look good. So again, setting the radius, I'll make this one 1. That's better. Yeah. So I've done the first one. I don't need to do the second one again because I can just select this now. All of those lines. Notice I went left to right to get just those lines inside my window. And then I'll click mirror and then snap to the midpoint on the line on the right hand side and just bring that across so it snaps to give me a horizontal line. Enter. And then trim, enter, and get rid of that, and it's done. Okay, so then I can use a similar approach to get the other side. So firstly I'll go back to fillet and just round off those other corners. I know it's minor, but it will make a difference to the way the drawing looks. So again, R for radius, and I'll set it back to 2 and round off these corners here. And pressing enter in between each fillet will repeat the command. And then trim, enter, get rid of this line, whoops, and we don't need these anymore. So that's our stud profile. So yeah, and then that can now be made into a block. So I'll select that stud, type B, enter, and put my good old CC, stud, and the size. So it's 76 by, exactly, so we'll say 33. And that's fine. So here it's really important that you click pick point to choose the base point. I'll click there, and I'm going to use a little trick here. I'm going to hover over this line, but I'm not clicking yet. Then I'll hover over the line on the left, the vertical line, but again without clicking. And now I'm going to come down to the corner here, and it's found the intersection. Yeah, that's right, exactly. Because that's the point we want to use to place our stud. Or do we? Sorry, I'm thinking, yes, that's right, that's right. So, B. B for block, yeah. So that's it, so I'm going to click to get my insertion point. It's on convert to block, so I'm happy with that. I'll click OK, and then I'll test it out. So I might even just delete that, and then come back to the base and at least draw in a, well, I might even go and make a layer for my floor now. So we'll call it A floor conc, the concrete, of course. And yeah, it'll be about 30 seconds. Yep, sure.
When you finish,
Yep, sure.
let's discuss what is who doesn't have a render project.
Oh, okay, sure. All right, no problem. Yep, sure thing. Yep, no worries. Yep, sure. No worries. Okay, so I've got my floor layer just so that I can draw a line across to represent our concrete floor that the stud would be attached to. And then I'll go and switch back. Even though blocks, the lines within a block are on a layer, it's still good practice to put blocks onto a layer as well. So I'm going to change to my wall stud layer, and then go and insert my stud block. There it is. And there, well, I'm happy to use the midpoint. We could use a nearest point. Just want to get that onto the floor, and then I can. Yeah, well, you've got to check your detail to see. So, yeah, you can raise it up a little bit. There would be a what do they call it? It's a membrane. It's here. We'll go and have a look at the detail quickly. Let's look at this one. Well, yeah, but you don't really need to draw that. You can just leave a little gap though, just so the lines read separately. But I mean, this is a pretty standard insulation. There is sometimes some sort of I forgot what the word is, but there's a base plate essentially they'll sometimes have for the stud to sit on. But it is actually, I've built walls, stud walls myself, and when I did them, I did it like this with Dynabolts attached directly to the concrete, so that works too.
You've got to raise it up about a fraction of a mil so that it's not on the line.
Yeah, maybe even just like a millimetre or two. Yeah. So that works. So coming back into here though, into AutoCAD drawing. Okay, so going back to insert it, I'm going to go to more options, just so that I can make sure that rotation option's ticked. So that then as I'm placing it, I can rotate around 90 degrees. And then if necessary, yeah, you can just select it, click move, click a base point, and then move it up, yeah, a millimetre, probably is enough. And then put your lines in for the plasterboard. Other side. So we'll come back and finish this off next week. You can always have a look at the these details though and try and do that yourselves. And so for now though, I'm going to extend this line down to the floor and then simply offset, so you can all do this, offset 13 mil, and then maybe use mirror. I'm just typing shortcuts here, MI, and flip over the middle of the block, and we've got a starting point on that detail. So, let you try that.